Hi everyone, my name is Mohammed. I'm one of the applicants for ICT lecturer position in Sydney. I'm just presenting this case scenario based on the requirements for interview. The proposal was to choose one of the three topics: development application, system analysis, or cybersecurity. I have chosen cybersecurity as main focus of this presentation. So the assessment scenario or design proposed as a design for group work, and also is a second year assessment. So I have chosen the bachelor degree COIT 11241 for technology, cybersecurity technologies focus. So the weight for the assessment 50%, and the main key focus areas: industry tools, techniques, evaluating contribution for each individual to the project, academic integrity, and marking consistency. So the scenario proposed to the students, either they should act as a consultants, focusing on small business, and they need to identify the vulnerability for the business, to recommend security solution. So they conduct a threat modeling and propose document and security strategy as part of the objectives of the assessment. Create a short simulation video, and also they present the finding to the tutor in the class. Learning outcomes. So the assumption is we have the Unity profile sits already on Moodle, and we looked at the learning outcomes to map the assessment based on the learning outcomes. So apply security tools to identify vulnerabilities and protect computer system. And that basically they should use most recent tools to create mechanism or to mitigate the risk in the organizational system when they identify the vulnerability. Explain cybersecurity challenges, technologies available, address those challenges. So they need to see what's the current challenges in terms of security these days. So from the scenario when they analyze it. Also, they apply cloud services tools, automate common IT process and tasks. So they touch on also cloud, because cloud is also part of the industry, and here it's part of the learning outcome. So you should touch on designing the assessment, something to cover the cloud as well. Now, industry practice tools, techniques used. So we're proposing here the threat modeling. For example, Microsoft threat modeling can be used. Threat Dragon can be used. Simulation software such as Packet Tracer or Cyber Range Labs can be used as well. Documentation and collaboration. For example, they can use GitHub to share all the documentation on GitHub. Also, they can use Teams, Slack used also in the market, or Markdown as well. So there's too many tools to use, but the most common tools used also in CQU, the GitHub and Teams, which is used in Capstone project as well. Agile practice, sprints and stand-up. So just some sort of management tools they need to use, especially for short period of time projects around 1 to 4 weeks. They can use sprints or stand-up just to make sure all the tasks there for short period of time, so they can list all the tasks as required. And also stand-up meetings, they can update themselves every 2 or 3 days. They can stand up together and brief each other on project progress, and that will help them as well to monitor the project and if there is an issue, can be reported earlier. That sort of management skills they need to be exposed to, so in order for them, when they get to the industry, they use the same agile practice as well. Prepare students for real world work or scenarios. Develop collaborative and technical fluency when they use these tools. Also, in terms of deliverables, so you need to let your student know what sort of deliverables expected from them. So you need to be clear what they're doing. So for example, a thread model document, that should be prepared by week 2. Security strategy report, which introduces what strategy you followed in order to identify vulnerabilities and what sort of mitigation control or security controls you need to implement in order to reduce this risk on that business. Security simulation video, they can use the simulation recommended as part of the techniques, and then they can present it in a video and submit it on week 5. Individual reflection and peer evaluation, so what they have learned from the doing this assignment. So tell us what you have learned, what skills you gained from the project, and also how much your colleague contribute to this. So evaluate them. Group presentation to the tutor, so tutor can determine the students how much contributed each student, how much work to put into this project or efforts they put into the project. So each deliverable is a scaffold to support the progress of learning for each student. Also, evaluation of contribution, that's one of the challenging parts, especially in group work, but there is a lot of tools to be used to determine the individual contribution to the assessment. Peer review rubric, basically that contribution determine the contribution for each individual, and also communication and reliability. So you can develop a rubric which identify how much each person contributed to this assignment. Reflection report with 500 words, they can talk about the reflection report, and also the individual input and lessons learned. What you have learned, tell us in 500 words what you have learned and what sort of skills you have gained in this project. Tutor monitoring, so weekly checks-in or group logs. So they look at, for example, Teams or GitHub. They see where the student updated documents or uploaded documents, new documents to the GitHub or Teams. Also, the tutor over the weeks will be familiar with their own student, so they know who contributed the most to the project, or they show more interest to the project. GitHub activities, commits tracking and issue discussion. You look at the discussion and activities there, so you keep eye on this as well. So that basically offers balanced evaluation and promotes accountability and fairness to the students. Academic integrity, for example, unique scenario per group. So to ensure academic integrity as part of the assessment, and which is challenging for all universities these days because students use a lot of tools like contract cheating. They use ChatGPT as well. So also to ensure academic integrity, you can use unique scenarios per group. So you can, maybe a class of 20 students, you can create 5 scenarios and give each for one scenario to solve. Milestones submission basically prevent the last minute plagiarism, and also Viva style questioning in the presentation. So when they present, try to ask questions to students, just determine their understanding, and they have demonstrated the learning outcomes. Turn it in for report checks. So turn it in, don't ignore it. When they submit, check the turn it in, and also check the similarity percentage. AI use, declaration policy, transparency required. So you can mention the assessment. For example, if you used AI, please indicate which question and include a screenshot for the AI help you got from like they can screenshot the answer and put it in the appendix, and that will help you to determine when they answer the question in the body of the assignment and compare it with the screenshot. You can see how much they got from AI. Also, marking consistency, just to ensure the marking consistent across the board, like for all the campuses across CQU campuses. Unified rubrics with criteria descriptors is important, like rubric unified with the criteria. Sample solution, so provide sample solution. So if you have the assignment and maybe whoever developed the assessment can provide solution for that assessment, help the markers to look at the solution and compare it with students' responses. Benchmark feedback, maybe you can, when they submit, maybe you can mark 3 or 4 samples, put feedback and just give them example for high distinction, credit and pass level, or even fail level, like what the comments you put for each sample. Also, pre-marking collaboration sessions. Maybe you can get them into online meeting on Zoom or Teams, and then send them invite and say, look, I already marked a few samples. Maybe each campus can bring their own marking samples, and we can discuss and we exchange ideas and experience. Cross campuses moderation. They can send 3 samples. They can mark each tutor 3 samples and send it to the unit coordinator, and then they can modify, look at and moderate those samples and send it back to tutors with adjust the mark and feedback as well. And that's what we're doing currently with subjects we teach in CQU anyway. Second marking possible. Like for example, you mark something, you send it to external marker. They can mark it, but take all your comments and score out, like give them a blank copy, not marked. They can mark and send you a feedback. You can compare it with yours and see how much difference between your marking and others. And the second marker, I mean. Feedback templates, maybe you can create template with feedback, and also that will ensure the structure is the same and the tone, using keywords in marking, which help other tutors to use the same keywords. That will ensure fairness, quality, consistency in across all campuses in marking, and also avoid any bias in marking as well. Sample scenario, you can give them CafeNet, for example. They can, as a case to student as part of the assignment. So you touch on cloud-based, point of sale, and cloud-based because learning outcomes emphasize on cloud services. Bring your own devices, customer Wi-Fi across, so to ensure networking as well. So maybe you can look at a similar scenario like this one with looking at the vulnerabilities for each device on the network. Tasks be given as a part of the assessment. Identify the vulnerabilities. Propose layered defenses. So what sort of defenses we need to implement, or what security controls or measures we need to take in place to defend our network. Similar security events, for example, the man in the middle attack, you can demonstrate as part of the video when they simulate. Document and present solutions, so they can document the report and present solution with a tutor, just to ensure each individual contributed to this project. Students they benefit from real tools and teamwork because they need to demonstrate the ability to work with teams, especially in the industry as well outside. Experience in technical writing and presentation because they need to present their findings. Increase awareness of ethical practice because we emphasize too much on academic integrity, so they have a fair chance to do the assessment themselves. Practical problem solving under guidance, So the problem solving as part of the scenario, they need to provide the solution. So in conclusion, the assessment will offer the authentic skill-based learning experience. Also industry relevant and collaborative tasks, just to be able to work with the groups. Balanced and fair assessment, not biased. With marking, so fair assessment to cover all the learning outcomes and mark also fairly. So integrity and consistency baked in the assessment. That's the references I used. Thank you for listening to me. I hope you enjoyed my presentation as I did. Thank you very much.